we're going to talk about how to print a range of pages and set up a print command to do that. Right now, I have a Print Current Page button on my OnMark Employee Review, and I'm in the -print range file. And what I'm going to do is set up on page 1. Notice I have a Print Current Page button on that as well. I can set up a print range, so I can set up another button, and let me do that on page 2. We'll go right here, and I'm going to set up 2 buttons side by side. So one is going to print the current page, the other one is going to print pages 1 and 2 only, not the third, and will hide the dialog box from the user. So this is my Print Current Page button. I'll go ahead and move that over and make it a little smaller. It really is rather huge. Okay, so I've got that button all set. What I can do is copy that. So I'll copy, and I'll go ahead and use the Edit menu to paste. What that does is give me a second copy. Now it's possible to use that other command, which is create multiple copies, and put it to the right. But for a simple single option, I tend to use this one. And I clearly want to line it up a little bit better. So my Print Current button here, and let me go back and take a look at the name. Here is my Print Current button. What I'm going to do is say Print Range. So this is going to print a range of pages. In the options, I need to change this, and it's going to say print pages 1 and 2. I'll just put it that way. We can always fine-tune that later. As I've said previously, I tend to not worry too much about the appearance because it's easy to change and modify that once you get everything set up. I tend to find if I get too particular now and go in and make changes here, once I get all of the scripting added, I tend to want to change it again. So I don't bother at this point. That's just a personal thing. I'll move over to the actions. Now we did a copy and paste. So take a look at our button. It already has that Run a JavaScript action located in this area. When you copy and paste a button, you are literally copying every property of that button, and that includes your scripts. So that makes it really nice and easy to be able to add additional buttons that are identical to the ones you're using. I'm going to click Edit because we need to modify this JavaScript right here to accommodate a page range instead of an actual page number. So I'm going to eliminate these 2 pieces that deal with the page number that I'm on. So I'll just delete those, and all I need to do is put in the page range I want. Now, here's the tricky part. You have to remember that JavaScript starts numbering at 0. So if I wanted to print pages 2 and 3, what I would want to do is print in JavaScript world 0, 1, and 2 are the page numbers. So I would want to print page 1 and 2, not page 2 and 3 like it shows in the page thumbnails. So I'm going to say 1, 2. And what that will do is this value tells it which page to start. This tells it which page to end. So this should give me pages 2 and 3 that I'm printing. I'll click OK, and you can see I now have some kind of an error within this piece. And the error I have is for this particular command, I don't use the curly brackets. I just place those directly inside the print command. It's kind of nice you get this little error here because I haven't been using the debugger. And I purposely haven't because I want to show you some of these features. Let's go ahead and see what it says. I'll click up here, and it looks like I still have a syntax error. And notice this one, it says invalid object initializer. What that does is tell you, in programming speak anyway, that Acrobat as a program doesn't understand what you want to print. There is no object in front of the command. So unlike printing the current page, we must tell it which object we're referencing. And the object we want to reference is this dot print. This represents whatever the object is at that point in time. So there is my this dot print. Now I'm still getting a syntax error. Let's click OK and see what happens. Notice it says missing parentheses after argument list. Now that's interesting because it looks like I have a parentheses after the argument list. Let me put those curly brackets back in and see what the program does. And do I have any better luck? Let me click OK. Nope, it's not working. So what I need to do is figure out what's wrong with this, and let me set this to true and click OK. It says there's still a problem, but notice it won't let me do anything because there is an error within this area. It's not letting me do anything that I want. And the reason for this is because, first of all, we don't need those, like I mentioned. I just wanted to show you that we can test if we do or not real quickly in case you're not sure, just by plugging them in. Now, when we use the this.print command, we don't actually need this portion. So I'm going to eliminate that. And let's see what happens when we do. If I click OK, take a look at that. It does go ahead and close the interface. So that tells me this should be correct. If I close this up, what I did was I actually modified the print current option instead of the print range. So I have a couple of choices here. I can just modify the name and the text on here, or I can copy it, and let me double click. I'll go out to edit this one. You can see this is right back to the current page. So if you're unsure, just click it. Let me go out to the print range and let's see what JavaScript is on this one. So what actually happened is as I went to close this, I bumped this other button. So before you just assume that the one is showing when you close this interface, make sure you go and take a look at the JavaScript for it. So this is all set to test. We'll go out to the hand. I'll click Print Pages 1 and 2. The dialog box pops up, and take a look at that. I am printing pages 2 and 3 as I wanted to do. Now this says Print Pages 1 and 2, so let's modify it to do exactly what it says. I'll go out and just edit this, and this will be 0, and this will be 1. So even though these are doing the print command, there are some differences in the coding and syntax for how you work with them. Now this says print current page only. I'm going to say print pages 1 and 2 only. Click OK. I'll close, and let's test this out. So it should actually do what the button says, which is print pages 1 and 2. And guess what? That's exactly what we got. So I want to show you and include some little bit of troubleshooting throughout this course. I tend to find it's very easy to do it and follow along and have it work perfectly. The problem is when it doesn't work perfectly. So that is our print command, printing a range of pages. The important piece to remember is this is page 0 in the JavaScript world. So this is page 0, 1, and 2, and that's the piece that can really trip you up even if you get the coding correctly. But that is how you can print a range of pages within a PDF document And also within a PDF form, you do it exactly the same whether it's a form or a document. So that's printing a range of pages using JavaScript.